In this short video, we'll use the CPA100 Compact Power Analyser from Electron Plus to look at what our small office coffee machine uses during a brew cycle. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to connect the mains to the CPA100. That also contains the protective earth. Then we're going to connect the device under test, which is our Andrew James coffee maker, bean to cup coffee maker. Switch that on. Then we're going to connect the USB cable from the PC to the back of the CPA100. Just heard it connecting. Now we're going to connect Epic, which is our free software. So there we are. That's it running. Let's just reset the timer. Okay, so that's what our coffee maker is actually using. So if I just if I turn off the coffee maker again, you'll see it's back to 0 amps. I'll turn that back on again and we'll see that's up to 0.13 amps. I'll ignore the timer on this. I think we'll have a 2 strength and we'll have the 4 cup setting. So what I'm now going to do is press the grind button. You can see there on the blue trace is the current. You can see the auto scaling happening as well. So basically this is the current scale, and on the left hand side is the voltage scale. Whilst this is brewing, which might be a little bit boring, I'll show you a few more of the features of Epic. So if we go up into display, we can hit view and we can make the screen much smaller. So that's just 4 measurements. That's all it's actually capturing all the other measurements, but that's what it's actually showing on the screen. We can go to 8 measurements, and we can go to just 12 measurements. So that can just be sat across the top of your screen whilst you do something else, or we can have scope and 4 measurements. So we can make that a little bit bigger if necessary. Just a nice big scope. And again, we've got scope plus 8 measurements. And scope plus 12 measurements. So this gives you the biggest scope. So if I was just to blow that up full screen, there's a nice big scope there. So if you're on a projector or something demonstrating. And then we'll go back to our standard display, which is basically everything. I can smell the coffee now. Actually smelling really good. So this demo won't be too long. Also on the scope, you can on the power analyzer, you can change what functions appear where. So I could change this function here, which is currently harmonic active power. I could change that to any of these other functions. So I could set that one to just duplicate the elapsed time function. There we are. So that's there. I can also do the same for the scope display. So I can change these functions to let's set it to crest factor, and this one we can set to current crest factor. So like that, and that will appear on the screen. And also we can, if you want to make one of the problems with a lot of test equipment is that you want to make several sort of handwritten measurements simultaneously, but they're all moving all over the place. This button here basically just temporarily freezes the screen. and all the settings. All the data capture is happening in the background whilst it's working. See how the coffee's doing. Okay. There's a save image function which will capture a bitmap of the oscilloscope screen and just timestamp it and put it in a directory. And what else? Scope. You can change the vertical trace. So this is the voltage trace. It does auto ranging, or you can actually force it to any particular setting. So I could force that to the 400 volt peak setting there, or I can back to scope. I can do the same with the current range. So I could force that to 2 amp current range, which is actually on because it's just turned the heater off. So let's make that a little bit more interesting. Scope, current range, set it to the 5 amp trace. There we are. That's the coffee machine. See what it does when it switches off. Well, it's not actually going to switch off. I think it just keeps the little heater running. Let's set those back to auto ranging. Back to the scope display. Okay, I think my coffee's now made. That concludes this demo.